Welcome to the Outcomes video guidance for the Outcomes system. The first part of this demonstration, we will show you the user interface, and the second part I'll show you how to submit outcomes for a demo service. Just at the top here, you'll see you have the Supporting People logo. Clicking this at any time will take you back to this homepage. Just on the right here, you have some handy links in the navigation bar. Home does exactly the same as the Supporting People logo. Beside, we have the Manage Profile link, Video Guidance, which you're viewing now, PDF Guidance, and Logout. Clicking Logout will just log you out, but you can just close the window and it'll do exactly the same thing. If you click Manage Profile, you'll see your account details and the functionality to edit your email if you need to. We'll just go back home. We'll see just on the right here, it says Outcomes, Welcome Organization 1. That'll depend on which organization you're in, but for instance, if I was NIHE, it would just say Welcome NIHE, and it would say you're logged in as and your name. For your name here, it's also linked to your Manage Profile, so if you click that, you can manage your profile the same way as just clicking Manage Profile in the navigation links. Beside here are the two main figures to pay attention to. And the first one here, you'll say it shows figure 1 and overdue. And just beside we'll have 3 now due. Basically what this is saying is you have one outcome submission that is overdue, meaning it is past the deadline. So that's why it's in red. And just beside we have 3 now due, which means that the reporting period for the submissions is over, but the deadline has not yet passed. So it'll be important to pay attention first to this number and second to this one, and trying to get both of them to 0. Just beside here we have the timetable icon, and clicking that brings you up the timetable for the current year. So you'll see the quarters and also the annual, gives you the data collection period and the submission deadlines. So if you need reminding of those or would like to note them down, you can just click that button and view them at any time on the homepage. Directly underneath this section we have a message, and any messages in red here are important to pay attention to. And you can see it reads here, due to COVID-19 you may be behind in your outcome submissions. By default this app shows the current financial year, i.e. 2020/21. Please click the previous year button to view outstanding submissions from the previous year to make sure these are up to date. So what that's telling you is, by default this app only shows the current year of submissions. So you can see here, just underneath, year 20/21. And because the outcome submissions were suspended due to COVID, and when you're going in to use this system for the first time, it's asking you just to check your previous year by clicking previous year button, just to make sure they're also up to date. The table below shows all the services that are contracted through Supporting People from your organization. And for the purposes of this demo, we have 5, and you'll see there's different types of icons listed. So the first icon here is a green tick to show complete, and hovering over gives you just detail on what that icon means. And just beside here we have now due, which is a green plus icon. Beside that, in quarter 3 we have a yellow time icon, which is saying not due yet. And for the last icon we have not required. You'll notice in these 3 support services, they are short term and they report quarterly, so that's why they have an icon for each quarter. Whereas these 2 services here have just a time icon in the annual, and that's because they're long-term services. The reason why these ones are locked and you can't click on them is because the quarter 3 and quarter 4, or the annual, hasn't ended yet. So 21 or financial year 20/21 isn't complete yet, so you can't submit the data until the reporting period is over. So if I was going in here, the first thing I would want to look at is my 1 overdue, and I've realized, right, I've missed this one, support service 3, and it shows the icon, the red X, overdue. This organization shows 5 support services. But we also have pagination on this table. So for your organization, if it has, 100 services, you will be able to click these different pages and go throughout. That's why we've added these filter buttons to make it simpler to show you only what you need to see. So you might want to click show only overdue to start off with, and that'll filter the items that you want to see first. And then maybe if you go into show only now due, and then that'll give you the ones that you need to update after that. But we'll just go click here, current year, to see everything. And that leads us into making our first submission. So if I was going in, I would be like, okay, sports service 3 overdue, click that one. And that'll bring us in to submit for that quarter. At the top left here, you'll see the service name, the year, and the quarter. Just to reiterate that you click the right icon. Underneath we have the important info box, and anything in here would be important just to read just before you go into submitting, just to make sure that the data you're about to submit is correct. So it's in here, floating support and short-term accommodation based services to report on departed clients only. Long-term services report on departed and existing clients. So just make sure that the data you're entering adheres to that. Underneath we have the number of reported contracted units through supporting people on our system. So if you just double check that. Underneath we have the data collection period. This is quarter 1. This is between April and June. And underneath we have the deadline. You'll see here that we have all the outcomes indicators underneath, and this will only show you the indicators in which you need to answer your questions for the type of service you have. We've tried to make it extra simple here and more linear, so we've added in the guidance. Just clicking the question mark icon will give you more context and detail on what this indicator is asking you. So for the first one, welfare benefits, service users supported to access relevant welfare benefits. And the question is number of service users supported to apply for relevant benefits. And you'll see here we have validation put into place. So in the red text, it has error codes, so depending on the type of data you put in. Now it only accepts whole numbers, so I'll put in here 14, and clicking out of that and moving on to the next one takes away that error message, and we'll say 10, which gives us 71%. Moving on to the next one, gain employment. I may require more detail on this, so I would click this and it'll give me more, but I'll go in here and I know what I want to put, so I'll put 15 for instance. Clients came in and 3 of them were able to get some training or education, so 20%. So I just continue on entering in my numbers that I have noted down here. That'll make sense. 6, 9 for instance. Oh, and you'll see that one's actually red. And one of the things is that we've added just underneath is a bit of validation before you go to send. So it'll not actually let you submit until all the errors above have been corrected. So you'll see here, there's an error message saying cannot submit, all fields are not filled out correctly. So in that case, I would scroll up, look for the red text, and I'll see this one is wrong, and I'll realize that, oh, that one's supposed to be the other way around. There we are. Now it's sitting correctly, and I can now click the save button. Should you need to add any context to the figures that you've submitted, you can do so here. For instance, this could be used for occasions when the service was closed down, so support couldn't be provided, and thus the figures that submitted are a lot lower than what they would normally be. So you'd write that in here, and we'll just click save, and you get a thank you screen confirming that the submission is now with supporting people. I'll just go back to my submissions list, and you'll see we now have 0 overdue, and the icon has changed from a red X to a green tick to illustrate that it's now complete. At this point, I would go on to my now due and start filling those in. Underneath, just to let you know, we do have some handy links in the footer which follow you throughout the application. Should you have an issue or would like to give us any feedback, you can do so there. And that's it for the outcomes system video guidance. Thank you.